Hey folks, Andy here, and here are 3 breaking stories in the last 24 hours. First up, big, huge news over at Sony. They are pissed. But at the same time, jailbreakers around the world are rejoicing. In the last 24 hours, the PlayStation 5 ROM keys were leaked online. I'm not talking about firmware or software or anything. We're talking about ROM, the keys that control the earliest stage of the boot chain process, and it's burned directly into the silicone. And I know some of you are like, what is this nerd talking about? What does this mean? Well, it means that this is unpatchable forever. Every PlayStation 5 manufactured with these keys is permanently vulnerable. Basically, Sony can't update their way out of this. The only fix is new hardware with new ROM keys. That's it. This unlocks a huge amount of opportunity for jailbreakers. We're seeing custom firmware, unsigned code, and full control of the hardware. This is the same class as Nintendo's screw-up a few years ago with the Fuzzy-Geely exploit. Same thing happened where basically Nintendo's early hardware is still permanently moddable. So yeah, Sony's response is exactly what you'd expect here. If they catch you modding your console, you're done. Okay? Permanent PlayStation Network bans, voided warranties, 0 support, and 0 appeals. So if you care anything about your online library or playing online, think wisely here, folks. You know, realize that if you're trading all of that for tinkering rights, just be careful, okay? All right, our next story is about 2 cybersecurity professionals who pleaded guilty to ransomware. That's not a big deal. You know, normally you'd think they're from like Russia or China, or maybe the DPRK, but no, they're from here in Texas. Yeah, so according to the DOJ, Ryan Goldberg, who was an incident response manager, and Kevin Martin, who was a ransomware negotiator, they were both charged with using their professional training to do the exact crimes they were charged in stopping. They've been charged with encrypting networks with the Alpha Black Cat ransomware, stealing sensitive medical data, and laundering money through crypto exchanges. So as of now, they are in custody, they forfeited all their earnings, and they now face up to 20 years in prison. Good riddance. All right, our last story. Shai-Hulud is back for what, the 3rd time? I think it's the 3rd time. Researchers found a modified Shai-Hulud worm testing payloads on NPM. They traced it back to a NPM package that had been abandoned and hadn't been updated after 4 years. It just went online. So probably an abandoned account, I expect. But anyway, if you're not familiar with Shai-Hulud and how it works, it's pretty crazy. During the install, it steals AWS, Azure, GCP, and GitHub credentials. And that's kind of the normal stuff you'd expect from a credential harvester. But here's what makes Shai-Hulud so nasty. What it then does is creates a public GitHub repo called Shai-Hulud in the victim's account and then commits those stolen secrets directly into the public repo. That means all that sensitive information is now public and super easy for the bad guys to harvest. Basically, anybody can harvest it at that point. And researchers don't believe that this is a copycat attack either. Whoever was behind this had access to the original Shai-Hulud source code. So if you're a developer and you're still not rotating keys in your code or enforcing MFA to these sorts of systems, you're already behind and probably a victim if you're not already. So yeah, that's it for now. This is Andy Thompson. Happy New Year. Signing off.